Now to discuss the latest on the COVID booster shots is Dr. Stephen Thomas. He is the Chief of Infectious Disease Medicine at Upstate University Hospital in Syracuse, New York. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So Dr. Fauci today saying Pfizer booster shots will likely be ready by the 20th of this month, but Moderna might be delayed because it might not get regulatory approval by then. Why not? And also, what about J&J vaccines?
Yeah, so there's a process, whether you're getting, your vaccine under emergency use or a full approval through a biologic license application, and that process has to be followed. And the foundation of that process is you have to provide the regulatory agencies the data. You have to show them that the vaccine was safe when a booster or third dose was given, and you have to show that that vaccine had the desired effect, which in this case is to dramatically boost the immune response. And so until these companies provide that information to the FDA cannot make a decision, and the ACIP cannot make a recommendation on how those boosters should be used if, in fact, the FDA gives them an authorization or a full approval.
So if you received the Moderna vaccine like I did, should you be concerned?
I don't think you should be concerned. They are generating the data. We know they're generating the data. They've come out in the lay press and have indicated that they have results, and those results are positive. We just have to have patience, and we have to let them go through the process, because it's very, very important, especially with the amount of vaccine hesitancy we have out there. Remember, over 40% of the country is still not vaccinated, and people are concerned about safety. It is very important that the process is transparent, that it is followed the way it should be followed, and that there's some discipline and rigor to it so that people can have faith in the outcome.
And what if you did get the J&J or the Moderna? Should you mix and match if the Pfizer booster is approved beforehand? Should you go out and get the Pfizer booster?
Yeah, there are some places around the world that have done those mix and match studies, and they've published the results in the scientific literature. And in terms of safety, it looks like safety is preserved, and it also looks like they generate some very good immune responses. But you really need data that's for the U.S. You need data that's generated in the United States, and I really have not seen any data that would allow us to mix and match. And so I think kind of the tiered system would be stick with the manufacturer that you received. If that is not possible and you are someone at high risk who really needs a booster dose, then you should probably stay in the same family, so messenger RNA and messenger RNA. And if you're really in a bind, then you might have to mix and match, and that should be done in consultation with your medical provider.
Okay, and what should we expect from the booster? How does it feel? Does it feel severe like the second shot did for a lot of people? Is it more mild? What do you think?
Yeah, so, if you look at the data from these large trials, which enrolled, almost close to 80,000 people, the majority of people actually don't have a problem with either the first or the second dose. I mean, most people are going to have pain at the injection site, which we see with most vaccines. But most people are not having fever, they're not having headache, they're not having fatigue. And, the data that's out there in the public domain, it shows that a third dose seems to behave similarly to the first and second dose. The second thing is that the immune responses that are being elicited by these third doses, they seem, again, with the data that's in the public domain, they really seem to be doing what they're supposed to do, which is increasing antibody responses by 5 to 10-fold.
And in this country, we have hospitals overwhelmed with COVID patients. And as you mentioned, almost half the country is still refusing even to get the first shot. Is it ethical to be giving the third shot, to be giving boosters to Americans when poorer countries are desperate to get their hands on just even the first shot?
Yeah, that's a very complex question. So it brings up the point that there's two different conversations. One conversation is a third dose, and in mid-August, the federal government said that it was good to give a third dose to certain people who are highly immunosuppressed, and there's a whole list of folks like people who've had solid organ transplants or who take certain medications. The other question, which is the one that we've been talking about, is a booster dose, and so that is people who have responded appropriately to the first two immunizations, should they get that third dose. And I think what people are concerned about is that all of the people that were once immune are now losing that immunity, and so water is pouring out a hole in the bottom of the bucket that we're trying to fill. Thinking about it globally, yeah, I mean, unless we're all protected, none of us are protected, and so there's some merit to that argument.
All right, Dr. Thomas, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.